Well, hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. Anybody who knows me knows I'm sort of partial to the brilliance that we find in children. Having had 5 children, having 10 grandkids, I gotta tell you, I love what kids come up with. There used to be a TV show, Kids Say the Darndest Things. Well, they also ask some of the best questions I know. And I love one that was asked by the grandson of my buddy Paul. Now, my buddy Paul has a grandson named Emerson, I believe is his name. And he had sent a video out, he being Emerson, to his family, asking 2 very important questions. Now, these are coming from, I'd say, watching the video, Emerson's got to be around 4 years old. He might be 5, but I'm thinking more 4. And he asked 2 really good questions of his family. Question number 1, why does God love us? Question 2, why do we love God? Those are great questions. And as I was listening to him ask the questions, Paul then played an answer for me that I think was from Paul's son, Emerson's dad. And that answer was spot on. But I thought, what a wonderful video thought for the day to ask those questions. Why does God love us? And why do we love God? God loves us because that's who God is. That's the nature of God. That's the character of God. You know, there's always a temptation for us to read into God certain aspects of how we've grown up or what life has been like for us. When people speak of God as a father, there's a tendency for those who had wonderful earthly fathers to have great thoughts. For those who have had difficult fathers on earth to have negative thoughts. Now, how we see God is dependent upon so much of our experience. And yet, when we think about the fact that God is love, that's not based on how we see God. That's an understanding of God based on who He is. And who He is a being that, in a sense, defines love. The word that's used by John when he says that God is love is the word agape in Greek. And it's a wonderful word because it does denote a fondness that God has for people. After all, we are His creation. But it also is firmly rooted in the ideas of a love that cares for, in a service sense even, that tends to the needs of others. It's not a love built on what God gets out of it. It's a love based and built on what God puts into it. And that's why when we understand God as one who is giving of Himself, seeking the best for us, we get to the root of God's love, but we also get to the root of who God is. Because that's just the kind of God we serve. Which brings to the second question of Emerson, why do we love God? And Paul makes that clear. John makes that clear. We love God because He first loved us. He's taught us what love is. He's shown us what love is. And our natural response as creatures made in His image is to reciprocate that love, however feebly we can do it. Well, I love what Emerson had to ask, and I love the thoughts it provokes in me and in his dad and his grandfather and others. But I put it to you, what does it mean to you? Why does God love us? And why do we love God? Those are great things to think about and talk to others about today. And that's why I've given you this as your video thought for the day.